Hello everyone. Today I want to go over attack buff and defense down. Since I've been trying this support EO right now, I've been going a very debuff heavy build with like 30% defense down, and I was actually curious, how do the numbers set up? What exactly changes? I did a lot of extensive testing. I think I got pretty accurate numbers. Regarding defense, sadly, I wasn't able to fully confirm everything, but let's take actually a look over the numbers here. So let's actually go over attack buffs first, because attack buffs are very simple. So I've done testing. Attack buffs seem to scale linearly. That means it just, increases by the same amount no matter how high you go. And it also seems that if you have multiple sources of attack buffs, they function basically as a singular buff. That means they're additive. So what does it look like? 5% attack buff increases your damage output by 1.92%. And as I said, it goes linearly. So when you have a 50% attack buff, you do 19.2% extra damage. I tried it as well with the 50% buff and a 20% buff combined. That yielded me almost 27% increase, and that lines up with if you combine these two values. So what exactly did I use to test these numbers? I took as my damage skill to compare, I took Overdrive Surge. I used Rage to test the different arts levels. And the way I got the 50% attack buff is actually through God Payback. So if you get a perfect block, you get a 50% attack buff. And that is an actual buff that you get as an icon. So that is how I tested these numbers. And this was very straightforward. So defense is sadly a little bit more complicated. So what does the defense do? So it seems defense scales very poorly. The more defense down you have, the less effective it gets. So you can see here, a 10% defense down increased the damage I dealt by 6.66%. 20% defense down on the other hand, only 9.5%. So there is a really harsh drop off. Now I also combined both of them together. So that is from EO the Fireball plus the Magic Chain proc, which gives 20%. That increased my damage output by 13%. Sadly, I was unable to find a 30% defense down debuff on any of the characters, so I could not test the value if it's exactly the same if I had a 30% defense down. So what I could test though was with the captain. I tested Miserable Mist plus Armor Break, and that was a 13.4% increase. So yeah, defense down sadly seems to fall off really hard. But the interesting part is definitely if you like combine these kind of playstyles together. Like I was checking how much damage increase could you get if you combined the EO debuff playstyle with the captain, if you use the attack buff from Rage and Clarity damage dealt buff. And this is the value I got. So if you combine these three effects, you could actually increase your team's damage output by 41%. I think that is actually pretty cool. But obviously, you're not really gonna see that, because everyone's just playing DPS anyway. And another really big downside of defense downs, not every enemy can be debuffed, especially if you are in fights like Omega, Sega, Liv. That one can have debuff immunity quite a few times. And there are some other fights that have debuff immunity too. I believe Lucilius can have it too. Beelzebub has it in certain phases. So yeah, sadly defense down is very situational. It's not as strong as I was hoping it would be. It's a little bit of a disappointment if I'm being honest. But yeah, I think if you're looking to increase your damage output for your team, attack buffs are probably the way to go. but I'm not sure how many large-scale attack buffs there are for your entire party. So yeah, it's definitely good to combine the effects though. So yeah, that is everything I wanted to showcase in this video here. Was just a quick guide. Thanks for watching everyone, bye bye.